So yeah, that concludes the video. Can y'all share your stories in the comments? Let me know y'all story about what y'all been through. Have y'all ever been in that situation before? And what have you learned from it? And what would be your advice to younger girls who like to depend on a man? I ain't even gonna say young girls. Some of y'all older women like doing it too. So
Hi everyone, thank you for joining me again. I'm so pleased to see you here. I have my chips. Today I have just some simple Doritos. All right, let me know in the comments what you will be snacking on or what you snacked on while we watched this video together. Let's jump straight in.
So yes, he kicked me out. Kicked me out. Left me in the streets. Basically. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. And I'm going to tell you how it happened and what I did. So, what I did, and this video is maybe it could be a lesson for y'all ladies out there. Or anybody. Don't rely on nobody. Don't be dependent upon no one.
I can agree with that.
Because you would be in my situation. You don't want to be in that situation. So, basically, as we was dating, everything was good. I'm talking about good. The relationship was good. And he had a job. I didn't have a job. My fault. That's where I messed up at. I didn't have a job. I got comfortable.
Okay, so I want to know, I'm very curious to see where this is going, if this is just a dating relationship where they're each in their own houses, or if she's talking about it developing into a co-living situation where there's like a shared domestic reality. Off the top of my head, I really appreciate people who can look back at an experience and say, hey, this is where I messed up. This is where I could have done better. There is a bit of bitterness to what she's saying, but I always think that, it's interesting, depending on the situation, obviously, but it's interesting when you can look back and say, hey, I could have done this better. So if she's looking back and seeing that her issue with employment was her issue, it was not an issue of the relationship, then that's fantastic. But I think we ought to be careful about kind of creating an equivalency between preferring to be a homemaker and not being in the workforce. I think they're two separate things. So we'll listen to what she has to say, but I think that preferring to be a homemaker is very different from just being unemployed and lazy and not wanting to work. I don't think that the two things are the same at all.
And he would go to work. I was making sure that the house was clean by the time he got home. I was making sure I cooked something every day by the time he got home. I'm not even gonna lie. I was living it. Sit home all day watching. I mean, we ain't had no kids. Sitting home all day watching Jerry Springer. I'm not Jerry Springer. Watching talk shows and all type of stuff. So yeah, it was good.
Okay, perfect. So yes, they were cohabitating. And right off the bat, I have to disagree with her a bit in the sense that I think that this is something that comes up quite frequently with couples that I see in my day-to-day, the understanding of what equal contribution is. So some understand it as two people earning a salary. So they're putting money into an account together, and so they're contributing financially equally or as equally as possible. And that's not the same thing to me as equal contribution. If we have a give and take in a relationship, it's completely logical and sane to say, look, I will be a homemaker and contribute my services to the home, and you work externally and bring money to the home. They can be equal things, even though they don't take the same form, in other words. So if she weren't providing this service for him and he were out all day and coming home to a dirty house, eventually he would have to do it himself, or he would have to pay someone to do it. So she is contributing by cleaning and cooking, and it's a customized service. She's doing it most probably the way that he prefers things, and so that's even would be an even more expensive product if he had to buy it outside of a domestic relationship. So I think the issue is setting expectations when you get together with a partner, talking about these things, and what is their understanding of equal contribution? Is it dime for dime, or is it, yes, I can earn a salary outside, and if you want to take care of the home, I see that as a valuable product, which indeed it is. Also, in terms of breaks and Jerry Springer, I don't see it as a problem, because even in the workplace, you're given smoking breaks, lunch breaks, breaks to, at the water cooler, and usually to avoid cognitive fatigue, you're even advised after 2 hours or so to take a 15-minute break. And so if you were to add up those breaks over an 8-hour workday, it would work out to the time of a Jerry Springer show. So I don't really see it as an issue.
You know what I'm saying? And we would go out. He would take me out on dates, dinner dates, movie dates, trips, all type of stuff. Not those extravagant trips, but I'm just saying. But all that stuff. And it was just so good. But then it got to a point where the perfect spouse just started treating me like I wasn't paying no bills. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference between how you, I'm not saying men would treat women a certain type of way because people get treated a certain type of way because they don't pay bills. But I knew the energy he was giving me. It was giving me, yeah, you don't pay no bills around here.
It's unfortunate to hear her not, even now at the time of speaking, because I think this is a past event, it's unfortunate to hear her not realize the value of her service.
And it was to the point where I saw he was coming home late, coming home like 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. But what can I say? I have nowhere to go. I have no money. So I dealt with it and brushed it under the rug. That's exactly what I did. And then I just felt I was in a horrible place. I was sneaking and calling the girls whose numbers he was calling. And then the way he didn't want me to act is the same girls he was talking to. The way he didn't want me to dress was the same girls he was cheating on me with.
So essentially, she's painting the picture of someone who is interested in control, and everything has to be under his conditions, do as I say, not as I do, and I'm paying the bills, so basically you have to tolerate whatever I do. We don't have his side of the conversation, but this is what she's presenting.
But I stayed because I didn't have nowhere to go. I didn't want to work. And I don't even think it was the fact that I didn't want to work. It was just the fact that I wasn't working. I had my own car. Thankfully, I had my own car. But yeah, I had nowhere to go. So of course, he sweet talked me. But one thing I can't say is he was not abusive, which does not think that you would think that. But I don't know why I said that. That was stupid to say. But anyway, he dogged me out. And I'm not even going to, I think he was a sweetheart cheater. One of them people who cheat, but then they sweet talk you and then bam, bam, bam. So that's how it was.
Okay, so I won't belabor the point that she absolutely was working and she absolutely was contributing to the relationship. She was. In terms of abuse, I think that people need to define, obviously, their own limits and their own boundaries. If I were in her situation, I would consider it abusive if someone made me feel like I didn't have agency within a relationship because I wasn't bringing in a financial salary or financial compensation. If I were made to feel uncomfortable in the same house that I was cleaning and making sure that it was presentable for my mate, and then made to feel guilty because I wasn't earning a salary, that's absolutely an abusive relationship, emotionally speaking, and also because of the cheating that's going on. If you have monogamic expectations, you have expectations of fidelity, and you are breaching that time and time again, that is also, it can get to an abusive point, especially if you have honeymoon, like makeup and breakup cycles. That can be absolutely abusive as well, not to mention toxic.
So I remember on Valentine's Day, he would have all his friends. I'm all over the place, but he would have his friends over there all the time playing games. You know what I'm saying? Then he would say stuff to embarrass me and blah, 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 but then he apologize for it. I was just young and stupid.
She was the object of humiliation tactics, especially in front of his friends. Humiliation is never okay, whether you're in private with each other, just the two of you, or whether you're in the middle of the town square. So we have humiliation and makeup and breakup tactics no matter what age you are, no matter how intelligent you think you are or you think you may not be, it's the other person's responsibility to treat other people as respectfully as they can. It has nothing to do with your age or the level of your intelligence.
But then on Valentine's Day, he threw my clothes out. I'm talking about it wasn't even no. I'm thinking we was in a good place. He went to throwing my clothes out the door. Throwing my clothes out the apartment. I'm talking about we was in an apartment complex. Threw my clothes out the apartment complex. Threw my clothes out the apartment complex. And all that type of stuff. I was so embarrassed. I'm like, I don't even know where I'm about to go. Because I'm not from the place we was living in. I was literally like 3 hours from where I grew up at. And I'm like, I don't even know where I'm gonna go. Thankfully, which is crazy, my granddaddy stayed in the same city. I had to go to my granddaddy's house. And it was like 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. Because I think 1 o'clock in the morning. Because I think I drove around and sat in the parking lot. I mean, thinking that he gonna come and get me. Like, okay. No, he didn't. So I went to my granddad's house like 1 o'clock in the morning on Valentine's Day. Imagine getting kicked out of your boyfriend's house on Valentine's Day. I mean, of course I don't believe in Valentine's Day now, but I'm saying back then, of course I did. So imagine getting kicked out on Valentine's Day. You think you're going to get some flowers, roses, and candy? No. So guess what? I went to my granddad's house. I had to swallow my pride and tell him what happened. And guess what I did? Something I should have did from the jump. That next day, I got up looking for me a job. Got me a job. I got me a job. Saved my money. Got me an apartment. And I said, you know what? I would never put myself in that situation again. Never. I would never put myself in that situation again to rely on someone. Not to rely on a man, to rely on anybody. To be fully dependent on somebody. I don't care if they want to pay all the bills. I'm still going to have me a job. I'm still going to have me some money coming in, whether I put it to the side or whatever.
First of all, how fantastic is it that she could find herself in that very unfortunate situation and over time restructure herself, because evidently there was an issue of self-worth and all of that. We see that she says that even after he threw her out very publicly and very noisily in a very embarrassing fashion, she was still hoping that he would come after her at some point. So she was waiting for the honeymoon part of the abusive makeup and breakup cycle, and it never happened. And that was the best thing that could have not happened to her, because she ended up looking within herself, relying on family, and then looking within herself to find the plans and actions that she needed to become whole as a person. So she found her self-worth, which is fantastic. Again, there is a difference between homemaking and not working, not being in the workforce. So I agree with her that even if you have decided that you would like to be a homemaker, which is a completely legitimate exercise, you can make certain steps to put away some money every month for yourself, or to invest in certain things for your own security. I think of it as hygiene. So the same way that you would not begrudge the supermarket money because you had to buy toothpaste and soap, I don't think most people would not begrudge the supermarket that money, because it's just part of your routine, because you see it as something that needs to be done to be healthy. It's kind of like your routine. It's the same thing. If you are a homemaker and you have a small side business, you can look into different schemes. There are a lot of financial literacy and education programs that are absolutely free a lot of most of the time in certain countries. I shouldn't say most of the time, that's not correct, but they are free programs that can give you different options with how you can invest that money that might be coming in the side. Or if you are given an allowance by your spouse, you can think of that 10% or 5% that you religiously every month you put aside and invest or put away somewhere as financial hygiene. So if the time comes that you do need to make decisions like this young lady had to make, stay or leave, you have some sort of you have a buffer to help you be independent. And again, this doesn't have to be thinking about emergencies or breakups. This is just simple financial hygiene, knowing that you have a footprint, that you have a history of investing and or saving, that you have a good understanding of money and how it comes and how it goes. It's just hygiene. You have mental hygiene, you have physical hygiene, and there's financial hygiene as well. I know that in the United States, there are different schemes. For example, if your spouse has a taxable income, you can sort of piggyback off of that to also invest. I'm not really quite sure how it works, but all of that to say, even if you're not in the workforce, you can have something as simple as a high yield savings account in which you put, I don't know, $100 every month, something, thinking of that, of your financial hygiene, the same way that you would think about brushing your teeth and taking a shower.
I'm still going to have me something. So if something happened the next day, I'm good. I have the money to put up to stay in me a hotel room until I find me somewhere to stay. Or I find somebody to stay with, roommate with somebody, pay them until I would never, ever put myself in a situation for somebody to feed me and put me in the streets. Never again in my life. Never. And that's why that's ever since then, no. Do what you want for me. But I'm going to always make me some money and have my own way. Not have my own way, but have me some money and put it up. I got me a job. I got my own place. And guess what? He ended up moving with me, but I ended up leaving and moving to Georgia. Because I wanted to pursue my stuff, pursue some things. So, yeah, that's why I'm so passionate. He kicked me out. He put me out because he had every right to, because it was his place.
Perhaps legally he might have had a leg. I'm not too sure. Because she was cohabitating with him. I'm not sure for how long. I'm not sure how the laws work where they live. But certainly morally, he was 100% out of bounds, at least based on the version of events that she presents.
And they can do that. That's why I be telling y'all, things be so good and nice and sweet. Don't ever put yourself in a position, because listen, what if he would have, I mean, he had every right to do that.
He didn't.
Every right. What if I didn't have my granddaddy? I don't know. Well, I guess I would have had to just move back to home. But the fact that I gave somebody the right to feed me and clothe me, that was bad on my part. I'm not blaming him. I'm blaming myself for being comfortable and allowing myself to depend on somebody.
I honestly don't think that an honest and open relationship in which both people understand the roles that they play, homemaker versus workforce member, that sort of thing. Once there's a clear and respectful understanding, I don't see that as an issue. I think that if I had a partner that were a homemaker, I would do my very best to treat them as respectfully as I could, as affectionately as I could, and show them all of the appreciation in the world. I think it's completely normal and it's to be expected that you would want to appreciate how the other person contributes to the household and take them for dinner and so on. If that is the agreement and both parties hold to their sides, I don't see that as an issue. I do think that what she was able to resolve quite thankfully is low self-esteem. And the comfort zone that she was in was not the homemaking. It was the low self-esteem and the tolerance of toxic behavior on the part of her partner. And thankfully, she was able to pull out of that and establish her self-worth. And that new, healthier sense of self-worth attached itself to financial agency and healthier financial practices, which also is fantastic.
So if you don't get none out of this video, please, that's why I'm big on 50-50. Me, I want equal, because I feel like, I'm not saying everybody, but I just feel like, if you don't, I feel like people would treat you, I don't know. I just feel like when you ain't bringing nothing, no finance or nothing to something with all these high bills and stuff like that, I just want equal respect. That's why I'm big on 50-50. I'm not saying nothing is again. If you're the type of person who let your man pay all the bills, please, by all means, please have your coins put to the side before you be outside, okay?
She's funny.
So, yeah, I've been wanting to share that story because I just see so many women putting themselves in that situation. And I'm like, girl, just Have your own money, have your own coins, and be dependent on yourself. Because, yeah, that's not a good place. But I'm glad I learned my lesson early, honey. Because one thing about me, I've always had my own place and own money since then. Yeah. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up, comment, like, share, and subscribe.
Will do.
And let me know what else topic y'all want to talk about. Because I got a lot of stories to share, baby.
Okay, guys, thank you for sharing this time with me and having a snack with me while we watched Who is Shonda. That is her YouTube channel, Who is Shonda. I will pin her channel name and the link to the video in the comments, or I'll put it in the description box, not sure, so that you can look at the video itself and subscribe to her channel. I really like her vibe and her energy, and I'm quite happy for the success that she's had after what was a very difficult situation. All right, so I hope to see you again some other time. Take care. Bye-bye.